And another part of it is me being by myself on a big lake in Canada when there is no wind and the whole lake is like a glass plate. And I use one of my carved paddles. I can never take the paddle out of the water, and it's just like feeling the paddle going through clear surface of the water, and there's maybe a couple of loons calling around or like an eagle flying above or something. And I'm like, yep, that's it. The Lord can take me right from here. I'm good. I was always fascinated about knives and blades and axes, and the spoon itself is a cool thing. I mean, it's representing so many of the values that I'm all about, basically. It's an implement, or like an item that's used in every culture around the globe. But a scoop is the most simple tool, or like the most simple implement based on the human hand, you know. The motto I'm really much going with in my work is creating beauty through seeking for the most functional lines. In many ways, stitching a piece of leather by hand instead of using a machine, or carving the wood finished with a knife instead of sandpaper, just leads to a superior product. That's the pride of the craftsman. What's the meaning of life? Let's start simple. Let's just start with something easy. Hey ladies and gentlemen, this is Max from Woodsman's Finest, and I have an investment for you today that you can... No. And that was the question for a long time. People ask me, so like, just find out what makes you happy. Ask me something easier, please, you know, because what is making you happy? Some things make you happy one day and they're a chore the next day. So how are you going to define it? I'm trying to stick to something that's along the lines of don't be too much of an egotistical dick. So maybe first and foremost, I'm a voyageur. The voyageur itself is just this kind of free spirit of guys living the life of seeking and like exploring. So this was really what fascinated me, all the different cultures, the unknown. That's why I've been traveling all over the globe doing so many different martial arts and crafts and everything, because I'm so intrigued and fascinated with about everything that I'm seeing. My work is all about functional lines. That's why it's another reason why I'm fascinated with Japan, because the most minimalist approach to the highest outcome in terms of functionality, to create something very attractive and very, very fascinating and beautiful. I'm looking at what I want to use every day. What fascinates me and inspires me very much is like just our everyday life, that we have to, or we want to use certain things every day, and I want to find a way to make that most meaningful, like with the least amount of waste, with the least amount of just using anonymous things that don't really have an identity. So it's fascinating and inspiring to create something, or to see something used every day that just ages. I think people's solution for problems of tasks of everyday life and how they deal with it in different cultures, that's most inspiring for me. You know, I had some time on my hands, so I went to Japan and wanted to become a samurai. That's what you do when you're 21. And I was always fascinated with epic stuff, but not in the way of getting too much into fantasy or something. I just always was fascinated with warrior culture, and Japan is the epitome for me of warrior culture. Fell in love with the country and with the woman, and I came back, and the rest is history. When I train Iaido with a shinken, with a Japanese life blade, you better gotta be in the moment, man, because if you resheath that thing and you go like 3 millimeters to the left or right, this razor sharp blade goes right through your finger tendons. So I'm trying not to make it sound badass. It's just dangerous, and you have to watch out. It's the same when I'm handling firearms for hunting or for fun, or when I'm when I do archery. You know, there's just some risks attached to it, that you just have to be in the moment. And I think I'm a very aware person, and that's just confusing, you know, in this day and age. But when I walk down the street and I notice every single person's face, their shoes, what they're wearing, how they behave, cars driving by, buildings. And I don't know if everybody's like that, but I can drive down a highway and I see a deer 300 yards away standing between some trees or something. And I'm not even trying hard. It's just something that I'm always soaking up the environment. And I can't stop that. And sometimes it's great, and sometimes it's just extremely hard to process, especially when you're traveling a lot. Human beings have to be materialistic. We have to be. Because we develop to a point where physically and everything, we're not really able to withstand anything anymore. We're neither very fast, nor strong, nor very resilient for, you know, our size and everything. But we have a brain that allows us to invent things that do stuff for us. So we have to be materialistic by just the, you know, very, very foundation of our existence. Having things that age with you and that tell a story, and you know the sources, and it's not like an anonymous product that's just cheap, and you don't know all the chemicals and stuff that goes into them. You don't know the work conditions of the people who make it. There's no guilt attached to it in any way, right? And this is the things we do every day. This is the things we use every day. So making everybody's life just a little bit more enjoyable every day. But this is, I think, a very healthy approach, and it comes with a sustainable attachment, basically, that there's less waste produced. People who source materials that way, they're usually more sustainable. Right? I think this is something that's extremely important for me, and extremely important during this day and age. And if we have to be materialistic, then let's just do it the best way possible.